Hi, I'm taking a moment to revamp a video I posted probably last week. I actually removed it from my YouTube account because I didn't think it turned out that well. A few things have happened between then and now. For instance, I would like to extend a personal congratulations to President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden. Congratulations on winning a second term. I will cover my disillusion and disappointment in you guys in a later video. This one, however, is geared toward gun rights and toward the gun ban that's currently before Congress awaiting approval, and why it's unconstitutional. Now, in reading through the Bill of Rights, I discovered one thing that I thought was kind of neat. The Second Amendment, the one that guarantees the right to bear arms, actually covers two rights, not just one. And here's the first part of that. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. What that basically says is that for the people to guarantee that their rights are not to be taken away and or trampled on, civilian populace can raise a militia. Now, what a militia is a civilian army completely free of the control and or influence of the government, and it is completely comprised of, supplied by, and regulated by the American people directly. If the government were to gain any control or any influence over a militia, it would cease to be a militia and would become no different than the Army, the Navy, the Marines, and so on and so forth. It is the last line of defense to guarantee that our freedoms, that our rights are not going to be taken advantage of, are not going to be trampled and or taken away, and that should our country be invaded by an army, whether it be foreign or domestic, that we are guaranteed safety and protection from all such invaders. The second part to the Second Amendment is one I'm sure you're all familiar with. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed upon. What this means is that any law that passes before Congress, the Senate, the Supreme Court, even the President, hell, even at the local levels, that prohibits the purchase, the sale of, the ownership of, or the use of, within respectful boundaries of course, a firearm and or its accessories is unconstitutional and illegal. Now, I've had a chance to talk with a few people on both sides of the gun debate, and a lot of the naysayers, the anti-gun advocates, state, why do we need assault weapons? Why do we need guns modeled after military-style firearms? Why do we need extended clips? Why do we need those when the only true purpose for those is to harm and or kill people? Well, it kind of makes me glad that you guys are anti-gun advocates and are not pro-gun and don't own those guns, because with that mindset, with the mindset that a specific kind of weapon is for the specific use of targeting and hurting people, means to me that since you have that single-minded purpose for that weapon in your head, that you all would be the first ones out there massacring everyone else, massacring innocent people. Congratulations. It's like saying pit bulls and Rottweilers and German Shepherds are evil. They're destructive dogs. That they only have one purpose, which is to harm. Okay? I've met all three breeds of dogs. I've met dogs of all three breeds that are just the biggest, dumbest, most lovable mutts you could ever meet and wouldn't harm a fly. It's not, just as with the gun, it's not the animal that is bad. It's not the animal that is to blame. It is the person pulling the trigger. It is the person training them. Okay? Anything you train an animal to do, it is going to carry out with efficiency. Just the same as anything you point a gun at, it is going to hit with efficiency. That being said, do not judge the firearm for what it does, for what it can do. Judge the action by the person pulling the trigger, by the person behind it. Because it's up here, it's behind their eyes, it's in their head, the purpose that they use that gun for. And I don't blame violent video games, I don't blame music, I don't blame violent movies. There's two major things that I blame. One, parents not getting involved enough in their kids' lives, not teaching them the respect for life, not teaching them the difference between reality and fiction, not teaching them gun safety and respect for guns. Without those things, of course you're going to have people that just go out and shoot people indiscriminately. How could you not? Second, is like Morgan Freeman said, a sensationalist media that makes household names out of these stupid people that were just going to normally off themselves anyway, that see all this stuff on the news and figure, gee, you know what? Instead of dying a no-name, a nobody, maybe it would be better to go out remembered as a monster. Those are the two biggest things to blame. You want gun violence to stop? Parents, get involved with your kids' lives. Teach them respect. You know, not only for guns, but for life, for other people. Media, stop covering the shooters of these atrocious crimes. You know, the school shootings, you know, don't even give out the names of the shooters. You know, cover the victims if you want. Don't give the shooters names, because all that does is reinforce the fact in people's heads, especially people that would have just gotten rid of themselves. Hey, I can go out and be remembered. So, yeah, it's stupidity. As far as assault weapons and military style weapons, for me, it's not only the fact of, I look at those and I see the craftsmanship, the loving care and attention that somebody put into building them things. I see excellent examples of human mechanical ingenuity and engineering. In many cases, such as the Dragunov rifle, the AK-47, the M1 Garand, which is on the ban list for being a semi-automatic firearm. Those are history. Those are, yes, Russian history and American history. Those are world history. The M1 Garand was a World War II standard infantry rifle. You know, it was the same gun that either your grandfathers or your great-grandfathers might have used on the battlefield. While that is not a very good example, say you should inherit one, okay? You should inherit one from your grandfather or your great-grandfather, and you stand there at a target range, and you pull that trigger. You feel the thump of the butt of the rifle against your shoulder. You see the bullseye of the target. You see the bullet hit that bullseye. You get that sense of accomplishment, that rush of adrenaline. There is nothing like it on earth. The thing that I don't understand is all these anti-gun advocates, over half of them who haven't even held a gun, let alone shot one in their entire life, saying that I, who have never hurt anybody, who have no intention of hurting anybody, can't own a gun like that. You know, even though I appreciate history, I have a love of history, I have a high appreciation for firearms and a healthy respect for not only firearms and the life and human life. Because of a few idiots and these anti-gun advocates, now I can't own that. I can't experience that same feeling. These three shotguns right here, all 12 gauges, the bottom one is a Remington that was owned by my grandfather, owned by my father, now owned by me. Same thing with this Ithaca in the middle. These two guns, 3 generations of family history. This one at the top, a Mossberg, the first gun I ever owned. The first true gun I ever owned, I should say. You know, these are family history. The Ithaca's American history. Shit. You know? And where that comes into play is you guys say that we're not taking shotguns, we're just interested in getting the assault rifles off the streets. Criminals don't obey laws. They'll get a hold of them anyway, whether they're shipped in over the border or not. Okay? So you're not going to stop criminals from using them. All you're going to do is, for the average people that didn't have a proper upbringing, that snap, all you're going to do is change the weapon. People could have walked into that man could have walked into that movie theater or that school just as easily with a knife, with a handgun, with a shotgun. And you know what? The result would have been the same. Judge the actions by the people, not the firearms. These 3 guns, they've never taken a human life. They're not out taking human life right now. And, you know, they're not going to be out taking human life ever, as far as I know of, as far as I plan on. Because I ever have kids, I'm going to teach them the respect for firearms. I'm going to teach them respect for human life. I'm going to be involved in their life. They're going to know the difference between reality and fiction. Now, I'm going to post more later. Hopefully, I look forward to reading your comments and anything you have to say, especially if it's good. If not, if you don't have anything good to say and you leave bad comments, I don't give a damn.